Fighter, you ready?
Combate Global.
Oh, what a punch. What an incredible fight. Can you believe what you just saw? We have a champion.
Welcome into Inside the MMA here on Fuse TV. I am Max Bretos. There is Alex Wendling. We'll be joined later by the boss man Campbell McLaren because we're discussing atom weights, 105-pound fighters. There was a time, Alex, where people veered away from the small fighters. They said they weren't exciting, that they didn't pack a big punch. That has all changed, and we have seen it front and center here on Combate Global. Some of the most exciting fights time and time again is from this division.
The atomweights definitely bring the energy every single time. My favorite division to watch at the moment because we have a stacked roster. Andrea Meneses, Kayla Rocco, Claire Lopez. The list goes on of the talent on this atomweight roster. Not only are they speedy quick with their striking skills, but they mix in that striking ability with beautiful, beautiful bone-breaking jiu-jitsu, aka Anna Palacios from Bone Breakers MMA. She always brings that action, and it's something that really puts the rest of the division on notice because these girls want the belt. They're calling out for that gold around their waist, and that could be something that comes up in the future for Combate Global.
I think some people would figure you can't get enough of a division for 105 pounders, but what we've discovered is they are out there, they are training, they're fighting, and now they're getting into big fights here with Combate.
Yeah, and they're training against people who have a lot of weight going up against them. So when they do get their hands on someone that's their size, sparks fly every single time inside La Jaula.
Let's get the sparks flying with our first bout. Daniela Tiny Mexa Hernandez, Andrea Meneses. There is Andrea Meneses representing España. As we have documented on this show and many others, Spain MMA is improving by leaps and bounds, looking for some more consistency. They need these fighters to seize these opportunities, and a great one for Meneses.
Yes, and she is a fighter that never says no. She's going to be taking on Tiny Mexa, who's an undefeated fighter. And that means you have confidence in yourself. To take someone's O away, that's the confidence you need inside La Jaula against the mini but mighty Tiny Mexa.
Daniela Hernandez, 4-0, coming into this fight. Atom weights, as we have been talking about throughout the program.
Tiny Mexa, absolutely adorable, representing Monterrey, Mexico. She has competed for many wrestling tournaments and brings in that wrestling pedigree, which is awesome to see from the smaller fighter.
And I will say, you don't hear the word adorable that often when it comes to MMA fights, but that's how we roll. But she is adorable. She is. She's under 5 feet tall. She's adorable, but she will knock your teeth out if you're not careful. As she closes the gap, that is Hernandez in the white. Switching stances early days in this opening round.
And Andrea Meneses bringing in her Kyokushin karate background. You'll see her quite bouncy with it, but also likes to get inside the pocket. That's when she's most dangerous. But as you can see, Daniela Hernandez is getting crafty and really closing that distance well.
She is meeting Meneses at the middle of the jaula, taking that central position. All stand up here, good combination.
And the country pride for this matchup in particular. I mean, we talk about Spain versus Mexico, but when we see it inside La Jaula, it brings a different type of energy. And Tiny Mexa quick to grab that single leg and move into a dominant position here where she's laying down some ground and pound.
Single leg attempt, and now it is Meneses trying to get back to her feet. It wasn't exactly that Hernandez let her up, but gave her a little calling card on the way.
Yeah, it's very awesome to see when a wrestler allows you back up and you're like, hey, I want to test my striking out. Let's see what I got here. And a beautiful question mark kick from Tiny Mexa.
She's emptying out the chamber. A lot of different looks here, and excellent start there for Tiny Mexa representing Monterrey and Nuevo León.
Now we're getting into round number 2 here. About to test the stamina of both these girls. Really hungry to keep her O is Tiny Mexa.
Very active fight from the beginning. And it's punches, it's kicks, a takedown attempt, everything's been included thus far. Good first round, and now setting the tempo in the second round again, Hernandez in white. Got caught coming in though. And now unloading is Meneses.
And Andrea Meneses coming in, risking her O as well. She came into this fight 4-0, fresh off of a win against Katie Perez by unanimous decision.
4-0, and 2 of those fights in Combate.
You have undefeated fighter versus undefeated fighter. When you have 2 undefeated records. You know there's a lot on the line. And now Tiny Mexa utilizing that grappling skill, pinning down an arm with her leg, utilizing all her weapons. Awesome to see from the 4'9" Mexican athlete.
4'9".
4'9".
Wow. I remember when I was 4'9". It was a while ago. Or when I was 105 pounds, frankly. Even longer ago. But as you see, a second single leg takedown for Meneses. She is now looking to pivot and take the back.
Yeah, great work here. She had a nice front headlock game. I thought she was going to continue working with that, but she did try to move to the back. No success there. And now they head into the third and final round.
And as the first 2 rounds, you hear the leather hit leather right from the jump again.
Now this fight in November of 2022. In a time where fighters are just trying to stay active. I mean, after 2020, there was a period where people had to take a break. So now everyone's just so hungry to stay as active as they can. Like, this is their time to shine.
Heel kick from her back by Meneses. She has been game, but she's been second best in every category. She has found herself on her back every round. And the striking game also in favor of Tiny Mexa.
And choosing to wrestle up here is Andrea Meneses. It'll be interesting to see if we get a little bit more clinch work from both of these guys.
Some good knees here from Meneses. You can see Hernandez uncomfortable.
Yeah, a little grimace there for sure. But here's where you really see the heart and the grit. And the sense of urgency to know that a takedown could determine if she wins this fight. They also have open scoring, so Tiny Mexa is aware that all she needs to do is, coast through this third round and not get finished. But she's still being the aggressor, and that's what you love to see, because sometimes if people know that they're winning in a round, they'll try to just evade action. But Tiny Mexa didn't do that. It was action all the way through.
Yeah, not bad by Andrea Meneses, but she ran into Daniela Hernandez in perhaps her best performance of her career, winning this matchup via unanimous decision in the atomweight division. Mexico over Spain. Tremendous action there. What I loved about it, Alex, is that we're finding atomweight fighters all over the planet right there. A great fighter from Mexico finding a great Spaniard.
Yes, Mexico versus Spain, an iconic rivalry inside La Jaula. Tiny Mexa, with a lot of wrestling background she brought in against Andrea Meneses, who's getting to leave that fight with 3 rounds of experience under her belt against an elite atomweight.
And these atomweights come from all different walks of life. We're going to show you one in particular. Yannet Garcia coming your way, great Muay Thai specialist, gold medalist. We'll see what she can do inside the Jaula. Campbell McLaren will join us later to discuss the atomweight division 2. It's all happening here on Inside the MMA on Fuse TV. We are back here on Inside the MMA. We continue our look at the atomweight division growing by leaps and bounds. Another international incident here as we have Mexico versus the USA as Yannet Garcia takes on Katie Perez, our next matchup. Inside the Jaula, Katie Perez, representing the United States, coming out of Cullowhee, North Carolina, nicknamed the Máquina Asesina.
And she brings in some beautiful jiu-jitsu every time she comes to La Jaula against the Muay Thai specialist Yannet Garcia, undefeated and looking to make a statement inside the MMA cage, because a lot of people weren't giving her a fight when she was trying to make her pro debut because of her experience in Muay Thai. So she's really trying to get as many fights as she can and show that she could be a top atomweight of the world.
One shout out to Katie Perez, also had the Cuban flag on her back. She is wearing the blue as we're underway. Yannet Garcia, she's 33 years of age. She's gotten a late start into MMA, but she's been kept very busy, obviously, as you pointed out, being a multiple Muay Thai champion, gold medalist, tremendous career. And now she's taking to MMA.
And we saw a little bit of a height advantage for Katie Perez. It'll be interesting to see how she can utilize that against the much quicker Yannet Garcia. But you'll see with that pace, that way she bobs and weaves, it's super beautiful to watch.
Somebody with a Muay Thai background, obviously you have some wrestling, but it's not your number one. But how can you propel forward as Muay Thai is your foundation?
With Muay Thai as your foundation, if you can manage to become a good counter wrestler, that'll really negate a lot of the threats of a jiu-jitsu practitioner. And we're going to see that in this fight. Yannet Garcia is able to reverse a lot of the takedown attempts of Katie Perez. And here you're starting to see Katie Perez feel the wrath of those strikes. Kind of on her face, you read it a little bit. She hasn't been able to touch Yannet, and it's starting to really make her confidence dwindle a bit. But she did manage to cut open Yannet early on in the first round.
Yannet Garcia fighting out of San Jose, California. She left Mexico at the age of 9. On her Instagram handle, a story about returning to Mexico to seeing family and friends after getting her green card. Very emotional moment, seeing some relatives that are no longer with her, but making peace with it. So just a great example of a person who really can live on both sides of the border.
Yes, she went through the DACA program, and she just has a great story, a great personality, and you'll see her use those inside elbows, short elbows, knees throughout this entire match. She's been training for a while, and a beautiful reversal. Katie Perez attempted a hip toss, and Yannet Garcia was able to reverse it and end up on top, leaving this round in good sights for the judges.
Round 2, again, Yannet Garcia in red, showcasing that Muay Thai skill, changing stances a couple times, hitting Perez with some frequency, high and low.
I love the way she fights. She's very ferocious. Part of her inspiration was Sailor Moon growing up. She said, hey, I want to be like that. I want to be like an action figure, a cartoon character, and really kick some butt. But when she asked her parents if she could train, they said, don't you want to do ballet or some type of dance? And so she's like, no, I want to go to the karate, the taekwondo school just down the block. She saw them in their uniforms and was like, I want to do that. And look where it's gotten her since then.
Guillotine attempt there by Garcia doesn't work out at that point, but she is starting to throw the kitchen sink at Katie Perez.
You can really see the movement
She's
of
hurt.
Yannet Garcia.
Second fight under the Combate banner for Yannet Garcia, who we'll talk. Stick around on the show. I'm going to ask you where you think she ranks amongst the atomweight fighters in Combate.
Oh yeah, she's definitely a fighter to keep an eye on. I mean, if she's able to do this to someone with this much experience in MMA, that's pretty incredible. She's powerful. She also ended up marrying her jiu-jitsu coach. So she's mixing her Muay Thai background and now being partnered up with someone who can really help her jiu-jitsu grow for the best. I think that's a perfect match. You have a permanent partner even when you go home, you know? So you can practice your jiu-jitsu wherever you go.
The gym is open 24 hours a day, basically. Just beautiful stuff here from Garcia. That last takedown, the sweep from Katie Perez, and nothing she could do about it. Perez is just having all the terms being dictated to her. Nice, sharp right hand.
And now with open scoring, the crowd and the fighters are aware that Yannet Garcia has won the first 2 rounds, and Katie Perez is going to have to start implementing a sense of urgency and get Yannet Garcia to the floor. And there you have the desperation takedown that's quickly sprawled away with heavy hits from Yannet.
Hey, Katie Perez, she's trying to be high, but you can see it etched on her face. She's not liking the punishment she's receiving. She's being outmatched, outclassed, but she's going to go to the bitter end.
Yeah, and when you aren't making the most of being on your back as a jiu-jitsu practitioner, that just leaves you open for a lot of ground and pound, and that does not feel good. And you're starting to see some of that damage being worn by Katie Perez.
Perez misses on her strikes, and Yannet Garcia throwing darts.
Yeah, once she starts to land and she knows where her target's at, it becomes a tough thing to weather.
Katie Perez at this point just wants to go the distance. Not going to win this fight.
The volume of Yannet Garcia.
To the very end. Fantastic work rate.
You could tell she wanted that finish.
She would get a unanimous decision. She would beat Andrea Meneses, a fighter we showcased a little bit later in June of 2024. So she has a rocket ship on her back.
Check out that smile, the shout out to her mom.
Well deserved. She's enjoying the moment. Yannet Garcia victorious. Much more inside the MMA here on Fuse TV after this. Welcome back. There you see Campbell McLaren is joining us. There's the Campbell McLaren point. we're talking atomweights. You got to be thrilled about this. You're at the right place. Sometimes overlooked, but it shouldn't be. The atomweights, as we have seen here with Combate Global, deliver the goods time and time again.
Yeah, I just don't think overlook's the right way to describe it. You know, the UFC doesn't do atomweights, so we sort of feel we've cornered the market on the atomweights. Very popular in Japan, but they do 108 pounds and we do 105, and so we sometimes have trouble matching up. And if you weigh 105 pounds, you know, those 2 or 3 extra pounds do make a difference,
sure.
Right? That's a percentage of your body weight. So I love them because at first, you know, they're like gremlins. They look cute, they look cuddly, and then they get in La Jaula and they tear each other to pieces. It's like scary to see. Ah! You know, they're ferocious. They're tiny and ferocious. And, you know, there's a biomechanical reason for why some individuals are able to punch hard, but a lot of our 105s seem to deliver a lot of power. Right? And they're popular. You know, again, it's an unexpected for many fight fans to see someone that size fight. And it matches up well with the size of people coming out of Latin America. A lot of the young women that want to try MMA and are rising up in their career are that size. So we've got a home for them, and it's worked out well for us.
Yes, Combate Global being the home for atomweights definitely puts a lot on the table for them, giving them the platform that they have. One of my favorite moments last year was when you were sitting next to Kayla Rocco and she was cutting weight, and you guys were just having a conversation and really putting a smile on her face, because even though she is a small girl, cutting to 105 is still troublesome at times because it is a really, really light weight. She made the weight, and now she's really made a name for herself. She was supposed to fight Claire Lopez. Claire Lopez, another high-profile atomweight fighter.
Good roster.
Yeah.
So what is it about these atomweights that make them so popular? And that was a fight that a lot of people were looking forward to. So it's a fight that I'm sure people are going to want to see in the future.
Yeah, no, we were deeply disappointed. Listen, the fight game, you know, is unpredictable because folks train hard.
Oh, yeah.
Folks train like it's the Middle Ages, you know, like they and, you know, they maybe
No armor and swords and
you know, but
everything
kicking
else.
wooden poles and stuff like that. K-Rock got hurt her knee. Claire, you know, has been fighting for us and doing very well in Japan, fighting in Rizin and representing us in the land of the rising sun. And yeah, I think that's a great matchup. Why do people like them? I think it's it's unusual. You don't see it anywhere else, except, of course, in Japan. I think they fight. Again, it's surprising to see small people be that vicious. They're cute. They're so cute. You want to come up? Yeah, so cute.
Don't do that.
They will
Yeah,
rip
don't
your
do that.
arm off. They will do this. We like K-Rock a lot. You know, trains with Kayla Harrison, who's switched from the PFL to.
not 105
She's not
pounds.
an atom weight. No. She's like I don't know. She's like a locomotive weight. But it's funny to think of the two of them training together, you know?
Yeah.
Why do people like them? I think their fighting is a very exciting style of fighting. I think they're very active, they're very aggressive, they're very ferocious, and you kind of don't expect it.
And you just mentioned how Kayla Rocco sometimes pairs up with Kayla Harrison. That's someone that has a lot of size on her. So when you're looking at martial arts, you know that jiu-jitsu is good for the smaller person. We have Anna Palacios of Bone Breakers MMA getting crazy submissions. Her most recent one against Melissa Gomez, getting that rear naked choke. So tell me about the style of these atomweight fighters and why it's so entertaining to watch when these little people are able to break some bones and, you know, suffocate their opponent until they're unconscious.
Well, that's we're in the violence business, so
Let's not disguise that.
That's our product, so we do like that. But also think about it, Alex. I know how much you roll, and you know that women tend to be more flexible, right? And the smaller women tend to even be more flexible. So the jiu-jitsu they're doing that may work on a big guy that they're training with, right, doesn't always work on each other. They've got to be very adept and I think really crank it, because I've seen people get out of stuff that was like Gumby level. You know?
Small target size with the arms and legs. You've got to be very precise.
Yeah.
We mentioned Kayla Rocco, Anna Palacios, and maybe open it up to all our atom weights, but what do you see fight-wise moving forward in the next year or so for Combate Global, where atom weights headlining cards, atom weights having fight of the nights?
I don't know. That's a good. Have we headlined a fight with an atomweight? I don't think we've done that yet. But I'm going to give for inside the MMA. It's a scoop. It's a scoop time. We're going to
Ooh.
launch a new franchise next year, Combate Female, right? So it doesn't mean the rest of the cards won't have women on it, but we've got so many great women, and we want to give even more opportunity. So we're going to do 6 Combate Female shows, full female fight cards next year.
Breaking
I
news
love
right
that.
here on
And
Inside
you'll see a lot of
the
the
MMA.
weights on that. So that's that we can look forward to that. And like everybody at Combate is pretty jazzed about
That is such exciting news, knowing that they'll get a platform specifically for them. That's something that the fans really want. On TikTok, these girls are going viral
Yeah,
every single
absolutely.
weekend, 100%. Good on you, Campbell. Good, calling some good shots over here.
Well, you have your research groupings, and you know what the people want. You certainly delivered
He
there.
only started MMA, so he knows a thing or two.
Campbell, where do you think the atom weights you talk about Combate Female, where does the atom weights, when you think of all the weight classes, where does atom weight divisions fit in?
boy, Max, that's a really good question. I think surprisingly we have a wealth of atom weights, right?
It's
we
a
don't
good
have
roster.
to split the atom. We've got a really big number of people at this level. So certainly the competition is perhaps the most fierce at atom weight.
There you go. Campbell McLaren delivering the goods again here inside the NBA. Much more. We'll take a closer look at those atom weight fighters here on the program. Welcome back to Inside the MMA. We are continuing our look at atom weights, 105 pounds, and that division has really just been fleshed out in recent years here on Combate. Making weight, we know it's hard. I saw a fight recently where a woman had to cut off her hair to get that extra pound lower to do it. Is it harder for women to make weight?
I definitely would say so. I've only done it to 5 pounds before, but some of these girls are coming down from either 120 pounds, cutting down to 105. If you go to other promotions, they count atom weight as 108 pounds. So there's a lot of discrepancies that could go into it. But at the end of the day, health is key. Health is a priority. And if it's easier for a fighter to make catch weight, Combate will definitely prioritize that. And we see that in some of the fights here at Combate, either at 108, 112, making it easier for the fighters to be able to compete at that happy medium.
As was the case in the next fight, as we have Spain versus USA, Irene Cabello, Clarissa Sigala fighting. They're at 112-pound catch weight. Clarissa Sigala there fighting out of Rancho Cucamonga. Came into this fight 4-0 in her MMA career, fighting Irene Cabello. This was a fight that was held in Stockton, the toughest little town in America. It is Sigala in red.
And you were there.
I like to make my trips to Stockton. Fresno, Tucson, back in the day, making the rounds here for what was then Combate Americas.
And check out the action from Clarissa, who after her MMA career turned to bare knuckle boxing. So you know she's an aggressive fighter. She loves that action. She doesn't mind taking a hit. Because at least with the MMA gloves, you get a little bit of padding. But Irene Cabello, she is fun to watch. Super long, able to use her reach. And a very exciting, entertaining fighter representing Spain, but training out of Mexico.
La Niña out of Barcelona. It seems like more and more fighters from Barcelona, a big part of the fighting stable, representing Spain for Combate or wherever they fight.
And you got to imagine you love the sport. She was coming into this fight with an 8-6 record. So tasting defeat 6 times, that's, calls for some fighters to quit, but no, she kept going. Taking on a tough fight against an undefeated fighter, you got to have a love for the game with that.
Still working out some things. I remember when Cabello was talking about her modeling career too, keeping herself pretty busy. She's just peppering Sigala.
Yeah, she is definitely a beauty in the cage. And that's quite the risk to take when you have a modeling career. But hey, sometimes the bruises and the scratches can bring a little bit of art to those photo shoots,
Of course. It's a different angle. The photographers, the designers are always looking for something new.
Yes. And makeup artists can do it all these days. You can cover up any type of cut.
Sometimes you can paint on a black eye if you didn't get it, if you'd like. She's been fighting back all the way since 2012, so Irene Cabello got an early start, continues to plug away. She must love it, as you said, even when she's taken defeat, looking to build from that and get better at what she does. And she is the better fighter thus far as we have gone in through almost the completion of 2 rounds.
And part of her career included a 5-fight win streak, all by finishes. Irene Cabello has that dog in her. She just needs to let it come out and be confident in her skill set, which is a lot of striking, but also when she gets to the ground, which we don't see a lot in this fight, she's incredibly flexible. Beautiful submissions off of her back, coming from triangle chokes and a little bit of rubber guard as well, which you need some serious hip dexterity for.
I said most of this fight on the stand, standing up.
And these two really letting it fly. It's like they're willing to eat two to land one. But that's the way it's got to be when you're in the third and final round and you know that everything is on the line.
Sigala trying to protect her unbeaten record. This in the strawweight division. And this would be a really close fight heading to the final seconds here of round 3.
And Carissa coming in with an impressive record. It's not just a 4-0 record, scathing by with, decision wins. She's getting the finishes. 1 by punches, 2 by armbar, and then another finish in round 1. So she's coming in with a lot of confidence, but Irene Cabello looking to take that O away from her record, hunting her down, really dominating the cage, but eats an overhand right.
Sigala having a good third round, keeping her possibilities alive to win this. It would be an uphill battle. 30 seconds to go in round 3, and then the end. And then we awaited the referee's decision.
By way of split decision, de Barcelona, España, Irene.
Split decision victory for Irene Cabello Rivera. Would certainly like to see Irene Cabello again inside the jaula. Maybe more comfortable at 115 pounds. Maybe we should do a show about the strawweight division, because you always think dropping down a weight class is advantageous, but we know at 105 you have a lot of killers in that division.
Yes, we have a very stacked atomweight roster, and it's always going to be the type of thing where strawweights and atomweights can kind of go hand in hand. We get a little bit more options on the matchmaking side, but Irene Cabello is definitely someone we want to see back. She had a great showing against Jade Durand, really showing out her striking as well, so she's a fighter we're going to want to see back.
And yeah, maybe we look at the strawweights, and the atomweights we're continuing to look at, and they'll have to deal with someone like Andrea Meneses, who we take a closer look at next on Inside the MMA. We are back, and I talk to Campbell McLaren a lot, Alex, and he's always in Spain. I think sometimes he's just going there for the food and the people and the Gaudi and all that, but sometimes he's going there to build the MMA footprint, because from what we're hearing, not just from him, MMA in Spain is going through the roof, whether it's in Catalonia, whether it's in Las Islas Canarias. More and more people are getting interested, and they're developing better fighters.
Yes, and when you have a fighter like Andrea Meneses putting Spain on the map in the atomweight division, you know that's going to fulfill the whole country with more options. If you get a small, tiny fighter that can really bring that energy into the training rooms of Spain, you're going to get more options throughout that country. So being able to put them on the map is definitely huge at Combate Global.
Have you been on any of those scouting trips with Campbell?
No, but I
Me
need
neither.
to. I miss Spain. I love Spain. Valencia, Barcelona, wherever. Ibiza, count me in. Count me in.
Países Vascos, I'll start talking about food. But again, we have had on the men's, the women's, different weight classes. The fighters from Spain are getting better and better. And Andrea Meneses, who had a bit of a bad patch in 2024, but has got a ton of potential and someone that you can really back. Has got a lot of commercial appeal as well.
It just speaks volumes of what the MMA journey is like. She was on a 4-fight win streak before losing to Tiny Mexa, and then had a little bit of a rough road. So it takes a lot of will to deal with that adversity, and she's doing just that, taking on anyone who calls out her name.
Nicknamed Cali. A closer look at Andrea Meneses.
Soy Andrea Meneses, tengo 25 años y vengo de España, Barcelona. Mi apodo es Kali, que es la diosa de la destrucción hindú, y bueno, todo esto viene porque como en mi gimnasio soy de peso muy pequeño, entonces pues siempre que me van a hacer una entrada o cualquier derribo, siempre pues se dan con mis huesos, los golpes, entonces pues viene un poquito de eso. Bueno, yo pertenezco a Percat desde ahora 1 año y algo, y la verdad es que me siento muy orgullosa de pertenecer y representar a este equipo, ya que es un equipo solo de competición. Entonces, tú vas allí, no es un equipo comercial como tal, tú vas y la gente que va es muy profesional, está muy enfocada, todo el mundo pues compartimos el mismo sueño, los mismos objetivos, y eso te ayuda mucho también a estar enfocado.
Andrea Cali Meneses.
Meneses combines.
That's those flurry of punches, Mac.
planting the kickboxer on her butt. Oh, look at that slam.
Manessa's good position for here to finish it off.
To the final moment, a 3-round thriller.
Para mí, representar a Barcelona en combate global, lo que es, bueno, España en general, para mí significa mucho porque creo que no somos muchos los peleadores. Hay mucho talento en España, pero no somos en gran cantidad lo que estamos sabiendo fuera. Entonces yo siempre lo digo, a mí me gustaría hacer historia en las MMA femeninas españolas y creo que esto es un escalón para lograr el objetivo. Yo he hecho deporte toda mi vida, yo empecé con karate Kyokushinkai con 8 años y entonces pues lo típico que vas viendo vídeos, vas viendo cosas y me fue entrando la curiosidad. Y entonces un día, nada, casualmente paseando por Cornellá vi un gimnasio que es el 69 Monos, que es donde hice toda mi carrera amateur, vi este gimnasio y me animé, empecé a entrenar, comencé a competir, nada, llevaba menos de un año entrenando. Empecé a competir en amateur, después ya subí a profesional y desde entonces pues ahí empezó un poquito todo.
Menessa smells blood. He smells blood. There's that kick that you were talking about, Max.
It's a good one, too.
Nice 1-2 combination. Oh, beautiful kick. But you got that Muay Thai game. It's pretty good as well. Very good stuff. She may have something here, Max. Able to get out. Menessa is absolutely fantastic. Menessa is not stopping. Gets into the guard. Counter punch there from Menessa to get out of a very dire situation.
Andrea Cali Meneses.
Mi estilo de pelea lo considero que soy una peleadora bastante fría, me considero inteligente peleando y me considero una persona agresiva, con mucho corazón y que yo siempre lo digo, cuanto más larga sea la pelea, más me favorece por cardio, que considero que tengo buen cardio, pero más que nada por corazón. Toda mi familia, todos mis amigos, todos me apoyan un montón. Mi padre y mi hermano, toda mi familia me apoya, en ese sentido tengo mucha suerte, pero mi padre y mi hermano son también como muy fans, ¿sabes?, de mí, entonces siempre me están apoyando y yo desde aquí les quiero hacer sentir orgullosos. Así que yo creo que realmente es como tu vía de escape, hacer lo que te hace feliz realmente, entonces hacer lo que te hace feliz también ya no solo te afecta a tu vida deportiva, sino también a tu vida privada. Si eres feliz en un ámbito también se demuestra en el otro, entonces para mí es lo que más feliz me hace. Bueno, soy como un poquito dos personas diferentes, diría yo, porque, digamos, la Andrea de pelea, la que está arriba de la jaula, es más agresiva y yo fuera de la jaula pues soy una persona bastante tranquila, no me gusta, digamos, los problemas, soy bastante pacífica. Es como que hay dos Andreas diferentes, la Andrea de calle, por decir así, y la Andrea luchadora. Mis oponentes de mí pueden esperar una Andrea con mucho corazón peleando, agresiva, muy enfocada y que voy a por todas.
Hope you enjoyed that closer look at Andrea Meneses. We look forward to seeing her again very soon inside the Jaula. Speaking of the Jaula, we're going to see you inside there. What do you have in store for us next?
I mean, it's my favorite part of the show.
You're rubbing your hands like this.
We have some fun stuff. The real question is Max going to get there in with me? Because, I think he needs to work on some jiu-jitsu. Can't just be a soccer guy only.
I have my contract here, and I'm not obligated to do it, so I'll pass. I'll leave it to Alex here, and that is coming up next on Inside the MMA on Fuse TV. Welcome back. It's just me at the desk because Alex is inside the Jaula. We have talked about the atom weights, and we're here to show you when it comes to submitting opponents, they can do it. Do it faster, do it quicker, do it stronger. And we will take a look at a fight between Ana Palacios and Gloria Bravo, and Alex will show you the technique that has been used in order to accomplish the submission finish, even in the atomweight division. Alex, take it away.
Thank you so much, Max. Up next, we have a classic battle between Mexico and Chile. Ana Palacios getting the Americana lock against Gloria Bravo. And to show me, is another atomweight in this division, the #1 grappler for the 2023 season. It is Kayla Rocco, aka K-Rock. And we're gonna break down how Ana Palacios executed this beautiful Americana. But first, it started with the takedown. So they were getting close to the cage. They were letting it fly on the feet. But Ana Palacios is super quick. She was reading the strikes that Gloria Bravo was throwing, and as soon as she threw that overhand right, she ducks under, quickly gets to the back, and this is one of those scramble moments where the motion of this entire thing is like bringing them both to the ground. So even though it wasn't a completely clean takedown, Ana Palacios ends up on top. A quick moment of them being in quarter guard. So the difference is if I was in her full guard, that would be completely closed, and now I have to break her guard to get out. Luckily in MMA, you can do some ground and pound, so it's a little bit of an advantageous position, but if this was jiu-jitsu solely, this closed guard would be a problem for me because there's a bunch of different things that Kayla can do from here. Yep, like lock up different submissions. But luckily for Ana Palacios, she ends up in the quarter guard. So now all she has to do to pass into a very dominant position, aka side control, is pass this leg. So she's using the pressure to get past. She ends up getting past into full side control. And here, Gloria Bravo, these Chileans, they are feisty. She is letting, even when she's in this not dominant position, she's getting creative with how she throws some strikes from here. But it ends up leaving her open because one of the first things they teach you in jiu-jitsu is you want to keep your frames in, right?
Absolutely.
So what happens when Ana Palacios sees that she's trying to throw these elbows, she actually lets an elbow slide through, she ducks it, and then quickly gets her grip here. So you can go monkey grip for monkey grip. Once you have this grip, you're pinning the arm down. The Americana, you want to pin an arm down and then thread your other arm under the bicep and monkey grip this wrist. So now I have isolated this arm, and when I come, I keep everything tight. I'm pulling it down here, and all I have to do is lightly, like you're braking a motorcycle, you're kind of doing this with your wrists. I'm gonna do that, pull it down and pull with the wrist. And that's putting a lot of pressure on the shoulder here. And it's something that's gonna make you tap unless you want a pretty serious injury. So Kayla, when you're in this position, what could have been done from Gloria Bravo's side to avoid it having the submission done to her?
Yeah, so I think defensively, like, you do not want them to lock up that arm, because once they lock that arm up, you're really in trouble. It's going to be tough to get out. So I think instead of Gloria trying to create some damage with those elbows, I think it would have benefited her a lot more to keep those arms super tight, focus on staying safe and trying to regain her guard back. So instead of being here with these elbows, I think keeping a solid frame and working to create some space to try to work her way up or to get into a better position where she has a little bit more room to work.
Yeah, 100%. Because really, in these moments, usually you won't get someone that just lets their arm be isolated like this. In MMA, you can kind of get creative. You can throw some elbows to the ribs that'll make them react and leave this arm open. In pure jiu-jitsu, you can kind of distract them and make it uncomfortable for them and pull their head back so they have to defend and push that arm. It was executed so well mechanically. So the atomweights, they got a lot of crazy submissions. I think we're gonna have to break down some future submissions of Kayla Rocco as well, because that atomweight division is super, super stacked. So there you have it, the Americana lock. Max, you better be ready to try this as well.
We are back, and you've seen so many great atomweight fighters, but we want to know who is the best. And you had a chance to roll there with Kayla K-Rock Rocco. What was that experience like? We've seen a lot of Kayla. She's been getting better. She's got a great winning streak going here in Combate Global. But getting up against her and seeing what she can provide at 105 pounds, remind you, what can you tell us about her?
K-Rock is nicknamed K-Rock for a reason. She brings that pressure. She's training with people like Kayla Harrison, who's cuts to the bantamweight division, but she's probably walking around at like 155, 160. Oof. So when I say that I feel like Kayla Rocco is 20 pounds heavier than me, that's how much I mean. Her pressure is so solid, and I have 20 pounds on her, at least. So being able to hold a person like me down that has weight on her just speaks volumes of her skills on the ground. And that's why she was our #1 grappler in the 2023 season, because she was able to really evolve her game to control her opponents on the ground and then lay down that ground and pound as well. So K-Rock is definitely a top atomweight that you have to look out for, training over there at American Top Team, getting some of the best training you possibly could in the entire country, perhaps the entire world.
Could she be the queen? We'll find out in a few moments. Stick around for that. But what about Claire Lopez, the French woman who has been impressive? We were supposed to see Rocco Lopez. Fight didn't happen. I'm sure we'll get another chance to see it. No one wants to see it more than Alex. Claire's been fighting in Japan, doing very well there. What does she bring to the table? Is she the one that could wear the crown?
Claire Lopez is very creative with her jiu-jitsu skills. If you guys go back to the fight she had in Rizin, she got a vicious dog bar that I think was a catastrophic injury for her opponent, Reina Kubota. We didn't get any official news on how broken her leg was, but basically it's a knee bar. And the reason why Reina didn't see it coming is because it kind of just looks like your opponent is trying to advance on you, but really they have your legs tied up, hyperextending it like you would an arm bar, but to your knee. So it was a little bit too late for her to tap, and she also didn't want to tap because she had been winning the prior rounds. So Claire Lopez went on an interview. She said, hey, I gotta get the submission if I'm gonna get this win, because she's fighting in Japan. The decision would go in the way of Reina, and she got it done. And she's not only an awesome jiu-jitsu practitioner, but she brings in that striking. When she knocked down Camila Rivarola and then immediately hops onto the back and gets a submission, that is the type of stuff that really makes the atomweight division so exciting.
We had seen Andrea Meneses. We featured her. We saw Yannet Garcia. We also saw Ana Palacios. Ana Palacios is someone who wants to be considered the top atomweight. What are her credentials?
I mean, just being able to bounce back from the adversity that she fought against Anastasia when she got that loss, she bounced back and got the win against Melissa Gomez, who was an undefeated fighter coming into La Jaula with a 4-0 record. That's intimidating as it is. But Ana Palacios said, heck no, this is my jaula. Chile versus Mexico, I'm taking you down, Chilena, and I am gonna get that win. And she did just that, even after the first round when she was getting a little bit shown up on the feet, not too much, but she bounced back in the second, got to the back, and finished a rear naked choke. She is definitely someone that we have to keep an eye out for, but you can't forget about Yannet Garcia. Yes, she doesn't have as much experience as some of the other atomweights, but she has a lot of experience outside of MMA in the Muay Thai specter, and she is someone that is going to be a serious problem, undefeated for a reason, and could really put a clinic on a lot of these girls when it comes to the striking department.
Yeah, that's some good data. Do you want to rank them? Do you have can you give me a top 3 right now? Unofficially, your top 3 atomweights?
I think unofficially, I would definitely have to put Kayla Rocco up there because she's our most experienced. She'll be number 1. Claire Lopez, she has to get back inside La Jaula here. She's been fighting over there in Japan a lot. I think she needs to get more active. She wanted to be active, obviously, but because of Kayla Rocco's injury, she did not get to compete. And then I'm going to have to put Yannet Garcia and then Ana Palacios, even though Ana
you gave me an extra one. You gave me 4. So, all right. Rocco number 1, according to Alex Wendling. We'll see if that holds up. We're out of time. It's been great to cover the atomweights. On behalf of Alex, Campbell McLaren, I am Max Bretos. We'll see you next time on Inside the MMA right here on Fuse TV.